The Chicago Bears are replacing their all-pro defensive back. Hello, everyone. I'm Andy here with Chicago Bears React, bringing you all the Chicago Bears news you're seeking both during and outside of the regular season. Before we dive into today's story, please take a moment, like, subscribe, turn on notifications, make sure you don't miss a thing. This is going to be a volatile off-season with the Bears making moves. You won't want to miss a thing. So for today, we're taking a look at the secondary again. And we've been talking a little bit about Jaylon Johnson, but another kind of more veteran member of the Bears secondary that appears to be heading out the door is one Eddie Jackson. Eddie tweeted out last night just a very cryptic new beginnings. And then, as was noted on his Instagram, someone got a screen capture. He seemingly says a farewell to the city of Chicago. This is something I've been kind of alluding to for a little while. I've been expecting this. Eddie Jackson is still a good player. Don't get me wrong. I don't think this move has anything to do with him not being a quality starter. He is a quality starter. He's worthy of playing for a team. I am certain some team is going to sign him to at least a short-term contract. This ultimately is coming down to money and value. Eddie Jackson is currently slated to make about $18 million in this coming season. And he is on the wrong side of 30. For anybody who tracks what tends to happen to defensive backs in the NFL, once you hit 30, you kind of fall off a cliff. And he turned 30 back in December. He will be 31. He'll be turning 31 during this upcoming regular season. And it's hard not to look at that and say you need a succession plan to begin with. You're going to have to bring in a young safety. And you have to ask, what can we do with that money? Now, there's some dead cap on it. If we kind of take a quick look at the numbers, 18.14 is his cap hit. But, there's only 5.58 of that's dead cap. There's $12.6 million you could save by cutting Eddie Jackson. And so at the end of the day, if you're the Bears front office, you have to be looking at that and saying, we can ultimately do a little bit better than that. We can ultimately find a cheap option to replace Eddie with, and then take that money and allocate it toward a premium position. I'm not downplaying the importance of safety. You need good safeties in the back, but you can find safeties pretty much anywhere. Safeties in a lot of ways are the running back of the defense, and where, are you going to find necessarily like a cheap, starting caliber running back or safety like just on the market? No, not necessarily, but like there's always kind of this group of, Deontay Foreman type safeties, to make a comparison that Bears fans will understand, who it's like they're good enough. And you can get them on the cheap. You don't have to break the bank. And so you think, all right, if you could find a veteran safety for, $4 million, now you've got $8 million you can still spend on a premium position. You can put that toward a wide receiver 2 or a wide receiver 3. You can put that toward a guard or a center. You can put that toward, you now have more cap room that you could allocate toward making a run at one of these defensive ends that may or may not be available during free agency. It gives you more options. And ultimately, I don't think the drop-off is going to be that significant from what we saw from Eddie last year. And potentially the drop-off won't be anything at all when you consider Eddie is likely not to look the same this season as he has in the past. It's just what you come to expect from defensive backs over the age of 30. So the other thing that I think is probably at least a minor factor here is, the Bears have one of the best secondaries in football, and it's young. Your veteran now in that defensive back room is Jaylon Johnson, assuming they bring him back, which I do assume they will, and he's 24. You've got Jaquan Brisker, you got Tyreek Stevenson, you got Kyler Gordon. This is a young room, and if you draft a rookie safety in like the third round, and there's some quality options to be had in this year's draft. Now you have this really solid young core of defensive backs who can grow together, which is a big thing. And so playing on the back end together requires a lot of communication. It requires a lot of trust. You can do that in an off season in some ways, but the value of having guys who've kind of grown up in a system together, who have really learned one another's tendencies well, that's a real advantage. And I think that's something that the Bears are trying to get that clock set as soon as possible. So anyway, let me know what you think. Are you disappointed to hear about this? Do you think the Bears go the free agency route, or do they go the draft route? Maybe both. What do you think is the best thing to do? Let me know in the comments. And thanks so much for watching. And as always, bear down.